Not every state falls in a single battle. Some collapse slowly, quietly. From inside, brothers divide power, borders weaken, allies disappear. And then, a stronger neighbor moves in. This is the story of the Kerasid Beylic, a powerful frontier state that once ruled the Aegean coast and became the first major Turkish principality absorbed by the Ottoman Empire. Early 14th century Anatolia was full of small Turkish beyliks, each one ruled by a Turkmen dynasty, each one fighting Byzantines, rivals, and internal threats. Among them stood the Karasids, a coastal warrior state, strategically placed near the Aegean Sea and the Dardanelles. Their lands would later become the gateway for Ottoman expansion into Europe. But first, we must understand who they were and why their fall changed history. The founder of the Kerasid Beylic was Karasi Bay, a Turkmen chieftain of Oghuz origin. Around the year 1300, Karasi Bay established control over northwestern Anatolia. His core territories were Balıkesir inland and Bergama near the coast. This region was perfect for expansion. The Seljuk Sultanate had collapsed after the Mongol victory at Kosida in 1243. Byzantine authority was also weak after their defeat at Baphius in 1302. A huge power vacuum appeared. Karasi Bey filled it quickly. He conquered towns such as Pergamon, Edremit, and Erdek around 1296 to 1297. He expanded across Lesser Mysia and built strong frontier defenses. Like other Ghazi rulers, he fought continuous raids against Byzantine lands. His warriors lived on plunder, land grants, and military campaigns. But the Karasids had one special advantage. They built a navy. Unlike many Anatolian beyliks, the Karasids developed maritime strength early. They built light war galleys in coastal shipyards like Edincik and Ayvalık. These ships raided Aegean islands such as Imbros and Tenedos. In 1324, Karasi Bey even sent a fleet of 24 ships under Mursil Bey to help the Ottomans. This was one of the earliest recorded Turkish naval operations. This navy would later become extremely valuable. But at that time, it simply made Karasids a feared coastal power. Karasi Bey died around 1328, and this moment changed everything. Instead of one strong ruler, the Beylik was divided between his sons. Demirhan Bey ruled inland Balıkesir. Yashi Han controlled coastal Bergama and Aegean ports. The state was now split in two. Instead of unity, rivalry began. Instead of cooperation, competition spread. Demirhan even signed peace agreements with the Byzantines in 1328, trying to stabilize borders while focusing on internal control. But the division weakened military coordination. Neighboring powers quickly noticed the instability. One of them was the rising Ottoman ruler, Orhan Gazi. Orhan Gazi, who ruled the Ottomans from 1324, understood strategy well. He did not attack immediately. He waited. He observed the Kerasid brothers competing with each other. He saw their borders exposed. He knew their Ghazi warriors were no longer united. Years passed. The Beylik slowly lost cohesion. Then came the turning point. Around 1345, Demirhan Bey died. This created a succession crisis and further chaos. Now the Kerasid state was leaderless and divided. The perfect moment had arrived. Orhan launched his campaigns toward Balıkesir and inland Karasid territories. Ottoman forces were more organized and disciplined than the fragmented Karasid garrisons. Using Ghazi tactics and swift cavalry, they captured Balıkesir and nearby regions. Local resistance collapsed quickly. This was not just a conquest. It was a takeover of a weakened frontier state. Many Kerasid warriors joined the Ottomans instead of resisting. They saw stronger leadership and better future prospects under Orhan. The inland half of the Beylik was now Ottoman. But the coastal regions were still independent under Yashi Han. Instead of launching massive naval wars, the Ottomans used a smarter strategy. Orhan's son, Süleyman Pasha, expanded influence along the coast. He made alliances and marriage ties with Kerasid noble families. Through diplomacy and political pressure, key ports such as Biga, Lapseki, and Aydınçuk gradually passed into Ottoman control. These ports were extremely valuable. They provided direct access to the Aegean Sea. And more importantly, they gave the Ottomans the Kerasid fleet. This transfer was peaceful in many places. Not every city fell by force. Some joined willingly to avoid destruction. By the late 1350s, the Kerasid Beylic existed only in fragments. Internal quarrels among remaining elites made resistance impossible. Step by step, the Ottomans absorbed Bergama, Çanakkale, and surrounding coastal territories. By around 1360, the Kerasid Beylic had fully disappeared as an independent state. Its lands became part of the growing Ottoman realm. The fall was not sudden. It was caused by several critical weaknesses. First, partible inheritance divided the state among sons. This created rival rulers instead of one strong leader. Second, fraternal rivalry weakened military unity. They fought each other instead of defending against outside powers. Third, they failed to build strong alliances with neighboring beylics. They stood isolated. Finally, Ottoman state organization was simply superior. Orhan Gazi built institutions, discipline, and long-term strategy. The Karasids relied more on tribal loyalty and frontier raids. The Beylic lasted only about 60 years, from around 1300 to 1360. This annexation was extremely important for Ottoman expansion. They gained the Aegean coastline. They acquired an experienced naval fleet and skilled sailors. They absorbed battle-hardened Ghazi warriors into their army. Most importantly, this opened the path toward Europe. In 1354, Süleyman Pasha used these naval resources to cross the Dardanelles and capture Gallipoli. This became the first Ottoman foothold in Europe. Without the Kerasid merger, this step would have been much harder. Subscribe to Historical TV, because sometimes the fall of one frontier state becomes the first step toward building an empire that will span continents.